Hey, what's going on, everyone? So in this section, we're going to be covering some job hunting tips. These are going to be some of the tips that I wish I knew someone told me when I first started my sales career. It would have saved me a lot of time. Would have saved me a lot of time, especially when it comes to researching online to find this information. So I want to make this a quick section to give you some of my best job hunting tips. The first one is you have to understand that the best sales roles that you can find, when you're applying, they're going to pay you a competitive salary and commission, okay? You want to find people that pay well. You don't need to work for companies that pay very little. You just don't have to, right? Unless you don't have any options. But there are many different options you can find online, working remotely and things like that. So make sure you find a role that has a competitive salary and competitive commission, right? Don't take low salaries just because they force that on you, right? If you don't like it, you don't have to join the company. And you also should not be paying a company to learn, right? So any companies that you have to pay them for the opportunity for them to teach you, I would usually recommend to avoid, right? Obviously, there might be circumstances where it might make sense, but most of the time, companies that you have to pay them to learn are not the good place to be because it's so competitive to find good salespeople that all the good companies are willing to throw a lot of money at smart people. So companies that make you pay them, I wouldn't recommend it. So like I said, companies should pay you to learn and earn, right? And that should be one of the foundations of a good company, right? Because it's not just hiring an employee. It's like you're paying them to help them develop as a human being and help them develop in their career, right? And so you want to find companies that will invest in you and your long-term success. Now, depending on which industry you want to work in, there may be more effective channels to get sales role interviews. Okay. So, every industry is going to be different, whether it's tech, real estate, finance, marketing, how you find jobs might be slightly different. Now, personally, for me and my personal experience, and if I was giving a recommendation to someone like graduating from school or getting into sales, I personally would recommend tech sales versus any other industry. But it really depends on what you want in your career, right? If there's a specific industry you want to be a part of, then definitely do that, right? It could be esports or whatever, it doesn't matter. But usually I would recommend someone do something related to technology because technology is embedded in all parts of our life. Every single industry uses technology, whether it's gaming, real estate, any type of agency, service providers, recruiting agencies. Everybody uses technology in some capacity. There's technology for every single industry now, right? And so that's why for technology sales, it's very flexible. You can actually work in any industry while working in technology at the same time because you're selling to all different industries. You also want to look for companies that invest heavily in their products and services and already have product market fit. So if you're joining a startup and they don't really know what they're doing, you definitely take a gamble in working with them, right? If you're looking for high-paying sales jobs where you don't have to stress about those things, you definitely need to look for companies that really invest a lot of money into their products and services to make it better than anything else in the market, right? So if we're talking about like Facebook, Google, Amazon, Netflix, Oracle, they spend a lot of money in R&D, their engineers. They have thousands of these, maybe even hundreds of thousands of these people working on product all day long, right? And so if they do it like that, there's not many competitors to what they have because not a lot of people have resources to go so big creating these amazing products. So the more money a company can invest in their products and services, not only from a technical perspective, but even marketing it, having all the people run it and operate it, that's going to be very important because the better your product and service, the easier it is to sell, the more money you make. And product market fit is very important too because if you're selling a product that nobody needs, you're not going to make any money. So you want to make sure the products you're selling are actually good. Now, many companies, especially in tech, are willing to even lose money on their sales reps. Okay. This is actually something that most people don't know. And the reason is because they feel confident they will make a positive return on investment. Now, many companies, especially companies in tech, are willing to lose money on their sales reps. And this is because they feel confident they can make a positive return on investment in the long term. Now, this is a tip a lot of people don't realize, right? A lot of companies, especially if they are well-funded, they got millions of dollars in the bank, or if they're already a huge multi-billion-dollar company, they can afford to lose money on every rep that they hire because overall their company is still making money. And even the customers that the reps bring in, maybe in the long term that those customers will make money, right? So not always does a sales rep has to be a positive return on investment. For a small business, yes, every sales rep has to make money. For a well-funded business or a huge company that's willing to take risk on selling something that may not have product market fit yet, they are willing to lose money on every single sales rep and pay you a high salary to do that. And that's just how the game goes. So know that even if a company doesn't have that much revenue, if they have a lot of funding, they are still willing to pay you a lot of money, even if you're not selling that much, because their expectations of you might be low, but they're still willing to pay you a high salary and high OTE because they understand that situation. So just understand, some companies will lose money on you, and that's okay. So especially companies like Salesforce, Microsoft, Oracle, well-funded startups, these are the type of companies that are willing to hire a bunch of salespeople to see if it works, right? And you do take a risk in that, if the product's not that great or if it's not ready, it's difficult to sell, yes. But sometimes, even if they lose money, they'll still pay you a high salary, and they give you a higher percentage of the commission so that they can make you happy and keep you, even though the company overall might be losing money in the short term. Now, typically companies have a hard time finding high quality sales reps. So there's really a high demand for salespeople, especially in technology, right? And other industries, there definitely are too. But, again, my experience is really heavy in technology, so I'm sharing you my insight. And there's a low supply of talent. And here's a phenomenon that's going on right now. There's all this money going to tech. There's all these companies trying to sell their products and services, but there aren't enough good salespeople. It's just so difficult to find people that are actually good. So if you really train and you learn and you put in the work and you can actually sell products and services, people are begging you to join their company. And if you're good at sales, you should be making a lot of money, especially in terms of like the long term, in terms of like the lifetime value of a customer. Companies will be making way more money than they pay you, right? And so it's a win-win in both situations. They're paying you hundreds of thousands of dollars for you to sell, but they're making millions off of you. And that's okay because you're just part of the company. You're doing your job. You're doing great. You're learning. You're getting a great experience, and you're making a lot of money doing it. So you also want to look for companies that have opportunity for career advancement. This one's super important, okay? Because you want to be in an environment where there are a lot of smart and hardworking people around you, and you're building your network of people that you can learn from, and you can use that network in the future. So definitely look for companies where there's smart people, they work hard, and you can see the long-term benefits of it. Because in sales, you don't think of it like you're just getting a sales job. You're building your career. And if you're going to do sales, think of it long term. Even if you don't decide to do sales for the rest of your life, you don't have to. You can do it for a couple of years and do something else, right? But the approach you want to have to it is it's not a short-term job. It's like you're learning real life skills to develop your career as a person, right? Because the skills that you learn in sales are going to stick with you for the rest of your life, right? If you know how to talk to people, you know how to generate interest, you know how to do presentations, you know how to communicate, these are skills that are going to be applicable no matter what you do, whether you become a manager or a recruiter in the future, you do marketing. Understanding how to deal with people is an extremely valuable skill, especially in this day and age. So understand that when you're looking for a sales job, don't just take any job that somebody offers you some money and you just take it just because you can't find anything else. Really put in the work to find a company that you can really grow with, that can invest in your success, and that's how you're going to prepare yourself for the best long-term future. And so with that said, that's it when it comes to the job hunting tips, and I will see you in the next video.